Welcome to Ground Up Growth. I'm Hannah Pittman, founder of Pittman Marketing, alongside my co-host Paul Hopper, principal broker of Hopper Real Estate Leaders. Together, we sit down with entrepreneurs and business leaders to share insights, strategies, and lessons to help you build success from the ground up.
Today, we are following up our conversation with Miss Jill Ford. Miss Jill, thank you so much again for coming on. She's the House of Representatives. She's a mother, grandmother, retired real estate broker, all the things. She's an incredible woman and has got a heck of a story. And we are going to continue the conversation with my co-host, Hannah Pittman.
Howdy. So picking up here, if y'all haven't listened to the last episode, go listen to it. You hear the background of Miss Jill and how she got to where she is, 8 years serving in the House. So tell us about your role. Like, what does day-to-day look like? What are particular areas that you're over or passionate about? What does a session look like? Just everything you would want people to know, that, and especially misconceptions that you feel like people have too.
Yeah, you're gonna have to remind me of each one of those.
Whenever... She's good at laying out a map.
Yeah, I'm like, can I have notes right now?
Sorry, I got them up here.
What the day-to-day looks like as a House member, people don't often realize that we're only in session from January through the first week in April, 3 years, and then in 1 year, on the year that we are elected, it's 4 months. It's January through the first week of May. And that is, that first year you go to the Capitol, you don't even know where the bathrooms are. And I say that literally, oftentimes I'm still thinking, what floor am I on? Because on each floor, the bathrooms are on different ends. And so you're trying to just figure it out. There is no roadmap. There is no notebook that tells you anything about this job. You are figuring it out. So they give us that extra month to try and figure it out. But sometimes people will see me dressed in blue jeans and tennis shoes at the grocery store and say, "Are you in session?" I'm like, "No, I'm out for the summer and the fall. I'm out until January." But that is an interest. I'm still working when I'm out of session. I'm still visiting with different groups, and oftentimes people will have me speak and talk about like session recap. But this is the time that I am in committees. Like, for instance, I'm the chairman of technology, and so I am over the AI task force, artificial intelligence task force, which has the National Guard, general from the National Guard, representative from the Attorney General's office, just different people that are on this task force. And then we go during our time off, we will, like next month, I'll be at Camp Shelby talking about cyber. Last month, I was at the Capitol, and we had a task force on data centers, task force meeting on data centers. And then in October, we'll be meeting with the FBI about cyber. So I'm still working, and I'm still preparing for, I met with DEQ yesterday to talk about the water situation with the data centers. And so I'm working most every day of the week. It just, I might not look like it because I'm not in a suit. Mm-hmm. And I always dress up when I'm serving as the role at the Capitol, but I don't always dress up when I'm just having meetings. Like yesterday, I actually dressed up with DQ. But so if you see me out and about,
you're not working.
I'm not working. I'm just not as cute as I usually am. So. Okay, what was the second part of that question?
Let me ask you this real quick. When you say like session, because I don't really know anything about this, what does that look like? Is that like 5 days a week? Or is that 12 hours a day?
Good question.
24 hours a day?
Yeah, 8 to 5, Monday through Friday.
Great question, because that's what you would assume, right? That it's an 8 to 5 job.
If I had to take a guess, I would say 8 to 5.
Okay.
Monday through Friday.
Mondays, we gavel in at 4:00 in the afternoon, and that gives everybody from other areas of the state of Mississippi the day to get in. So you have somebody from Tishomingo that takes them close to 5 hours to get here. And so we gavel in at 4:00 on Mondays. Oftentimes we're not there very long at all and we gavel out, but we gavel in and kind of see what our week's going to be like. On Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, at the beginning of session on Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday, we go in at 2:00. The Senate goes in at 10. So we're in session different times because we are having, you were at the Capitol not long ago. It's a huge building and you feel like it goes on forever. But when you have that many people, it gets full quick. And so while the Senate's in, we're in committee meetings. So we're up there that morning. We're just not in, we've not been called into the chamber. So we're in committee meetings during the mornings, and then the House goes in session at 2:00, and then the Senate goes in session at 10, and then they're in committee meetings in the afternoon. So we're just flopping our schedules. On Fridays, we go in at 9:00, and everybody does, Senate and House, and then we gavel in and gavel out, and then they go home. So we gavel in every day, but we're not there necessarily the whole day, especially on Mondays and Fridays. But on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, we're there most of the day. Sometimes at the end of session, which the month of March is, we're starting to pick up. There's over 3,000 bills introduced every year, but only maybe 300 that get passed. So you're fighting hard for whatever bill that you have that you feel like it's worth, really, really want it to pass. Then you're up there all the time trying to tweak it. In the lawyer's office, we have a legal staff. But now I don't have an assistant except during session. I have Miss Margaret during session. She prepares my committee assignments and my bills and my room and all of that. But on a day-to-day basis, when you call my number, which I put on Facebook all the time, I will put my phone number on Facebook. You get me. You don't get a staff member. So people will get confused sometimes, and when they call, they'll say, "Can I speak to Representative Ford?" And I'll say, "This is she." And they're like, "Oh, wait a minute. I don't know what to say." I'm like, I answer my own phone, and I really think that that's important, that I give my phone number out, because I work for the people, and I want them to be able to get in touch with me. During session, when we're on controversial bills, I ask people to text me and give me I want to know your heart. I might not text you back. I might have 400 texts coming in, but at least I'm surveying my people. And my people let me know. And I love that. Like, I can't tell you how easy it is for me to push a button knowing you've got my back. Because I don't work for the men that sit in that room. I work for the people. And so I want to make sure that they always have my number, and that they feel like at any time I need to text her and let her know how I'm feeling. Please do. But be nice about it. But I need to know how you're feeling, because I need to know that you've got me.
Right.
So I don't want to chase a rabbit. What was...
Well, I have another question, or one thing that I feel like I needed a bit of a refresher on like how all this works. So I'll tell people, if anyone's confused, it's like you have different committees. And so one question I have is, how many committees are there? And a bill gets introduced there in the committee, and y'all debate and analyze and talk through it. And if at the end of it, it gets the green light, then it goes to session. And then you talk about it and vote on it. And if it passes, it becomes a bill.
It goes to the House chamber. Session is actually the 3 months we're there. So yeah, there's probably 20 different committees, which means there's a committee chairman and then a co-chair in every committee. I'm chairman of technology, and technology is a wide range of things, from cyber to data centers to the cloud storage, which Mississippi's going to that right now. And that's basically what a data center is. Yeah. People think of the cloud. It's literally a data center. That's the cloud storage. It's going into a data center, and you're retrieving it from a data center. When you go Google Maps, like I did to get here, I went to a data center probably in Loudon, Virginia, because most of the information is coming from Virginia right now out of the 300 and something data centers that are there. I'm doing my best, just a side note that I don't want to get off on and chase too bad, but I want people to know I'm doing my best to do my homework for the state of Mississippi and specific to Madison County about data centers, the water usage, the power rates, any environmental, any noise, anything that you can't see or smell or taste. I'm trying my best to make sure that I am making sure we're keeping our people safe. And so that's what I'm doing on my off days. But also another part of technology that's probably my most favorite part is protecting children online. And that is another rabbit I'll chase real quick. One of my most passionate bills that I have been able to get passed is the Walker-Montgomery Online Children's Act. And Walker was a little 16-year-old from Starkville, Mississippi that got catfished, I guess you would call it, where in the middle of the night somebody got on his Instagram account and lured him in as a teenage girl, but it was actually somebody in another country that after he had participated in the conversation, doing and saying and sending some things he shouldn't, they then said, if you don't send me money, $2,000, I'm going to tell your parents and show this picture to everybody. And so but started at midnight, and by 3 o'clock he had killed himself. Oh. And so that we passed that bill, named the bill after him. It's now held up in the Supreme Court because the media companies, I'm sure, are trying their best to kill that. But that's probably my most passionate thing, is to try to protect children online, and really to try to explain to parents, when you're handing your child a cell phone, you're handing them a gun. Oftentimes, if you're not retrieving it at night, you need to be cautious what they're accessing and what the world's pushing to them. As a 13-year-old little girl, it's slitting your skin, pulling out your eyelashes, pushing harmful content, which was what they're doing, that they don't want to be controlled to do. And that's what this bill is saying. You can't push harmful content to these children. But hopeful that that bill will get through the Supreme Court and that it will be a law in Mississippi, and other states will be able to pass it as well. So, but that's my most passionate thing that I get to do as chairman of technology, is to try to protect children online. And then, but it goes to the committee. A bill gets dropped. It gets assigned to a committee, probably 20 different committees there. I serve on 7, I believe. I'm only chairman of technology. And then after it goes to, if it comes to my committee, then I present it to the committee votes on it. If it passes out of my committee, then we send it to the House floor, and then we'll go before the chamber. I'll stand at the well, and the 121 other people I have to convince to vote for that bill. And then if it passes the House chamber, it then goes to the Senate, and then the Senate will send it to a committee, do the same exact thing, present it in the committee. If it passes the committee, then it goes to the Senate chamber, vice versa. And after that, it goes to the governor's desk. So that's how that works for his signature.
Okay.
It's intense.
I think that's helpful.
I
I
know.
feel like I'd forgotten all that wherever I learned it, high school, college, I don't know. But it's a
Yeah.
helpful
Social
refresh.
studies, maybe.
Yeah, something like
How a
that.
bill becomes a law. It was on something on television. I can't remember the name of
How
it.
many times do
was that?
people, like, you're out in public, you're at Kroger, and people come up to you and, like, you see this fly right here?
Yeah.
Come up to you and be like, want a favor, like, hey, will you, I don't know, like, get my son out of a speeding ticket type favors. Like, I feel like people would always be like, or just inject their, like, hey, why don't you do this? And it's
Have
like,
you thought about this?
Yeah, have you thought about that?
No, most of the time when I see people out, they are very
Singing your praises.
Yeah, they're so thankful. I have people almost every day that will say, "Thank you for doing what you're doing."
Yes.
And that will bring tears to your eyes because that is a confirmation that you're in the sweet spot of your people. And that's where I want to stay. And I too, Paul, you said that it bothers you. Sometimes you're a people pleaser.
Right.
I am to an extent, but I want to please the Lord more than I want to please anybody. And when it's conflicting, when I feel conflicted, I think I had mentioned this to you earlier. 95% of the votes that I take are for my people, but then I've got that 5% of conviction votes, like that abortion. I'm going to always vote for the unborn. And if my people somehow someday they come and say don't vote for that, I'm going to have to go against the will of my people because that's my conviction vote, and I'm going to have to vote my conviction. And so, but 95% of the time, maybe even 98, because I don't have that many conviction votes. I'm a Baptist Sunday school teacher, and I don't want alcohol sold on Sunday. I just don't. And so that's my conviction vote. If you want alcohol sold on Sunday, I'm not your girl. But that's my conviction vote.
Yeah.
But 90-something% of the time, it's what my people want. And my people are so good about letting me know what they want. So I appreciate that muchly too.
You are a super strong woman in your faith. I'm interested, that's a very integral part. I mean, you keep hitting on that. You go to Broadmoor, I go to Broadmoor. I love how you're injecting that in. We try to inject faith. This fly is about to drive
I
me
know.
nuts.
I was obsessed
I'm
with
going
you.
to get
It's
him
on
before the
your-
end of this episode. You can write that down.
It's on
Where's
your
he at?
shoulder.
He's on your shoulder.
Oh.
You were close.
Anyway.
Didn't happen.
Just tell us about just how you lean in on your faith so much. I think that's huge, and I aspire to do that more and leave breadcrumbs and kind of just be vocal about it. That's something I strive to do, and you do a really good job of that.
Thank you. I appreciate you saying that. I'll try to make this quick. But my earthly father, the one that worked for Central Eastland for years in Washington, money laundered $6.5 million and put Mike and I as vice president of that company. And for 7 years, we had to prove our innocence. We didn't know what was going on. And so I didn't mean to shock you here. But I need you to understand that I did not have much of a foundation. And I found myself on the day that I got the subpoena at my front door, and Patton and Crockett were there, and they were just little boys. I went to my closet, and that was the first day that I ever went to my closet, was the day that I got the subpoena. But my closet's where you could find me for the next 7 years in prayer. So that began a prayer life for me that I would have never, ever been able to experience the Lord the way that I experienced without that storm. And so I just praise him all the time. Thank you so much for that opportunity. If you had not now it's on me, Paul. If you had not given me that opportunity, then I would never have experienced you in that incredible way. And because of that, I am fully committed to Christ. And through being fully committed to Christ, I am submissive to my husband. And I don't know that women realize what an awesome opportunity that the Lord has given us by allowing us the opportunity to be submissive to our husbands. Yeah. My husband's worthy of submission, but even if he wasn't, my role in marriage is to get on my face and pray that he becomes worthy of submission and not to try to change him. Let that be the Lord that changes him. But God showed me so much through that 7 years of that storm And it was the most beautiful love story for me to fall in love with him. And he went from an awe-inspiring God to Jesus, my bridegroom, and somebody that I want everybody to know about. And I want people to see my life and know that they can trust me when I am away from them. Like, they trust me. They know at night I'm coming home to be with my man. I'm not doing anything that I shouldn't be doing.
Right.
And that I am making wise votes based on my spiritual convictions, and that their trust means the world to me. If I have the trust of my people, nothing else matters.
Right.
I can have the trust of my people. Just, I need them to know that you can trust me on this,
Yeah.
and really mean that. But only because I've been with the Lord.
Right.
When I stop being with the Lord, you need to stop trusting me.
That's
So,
right. No, I really appreciate you sharing that. And it's very evident in your walk in your faith. And that's, man, what a story. I mean, isn't it crazy how, I mean, you always hear like you got to go through the valley to get to the top of the mountain. Like if you're literally climbing the Rocky Mountains, the easiest way to the top is to go through the valleys. And like it makes so much sense. But I mean, nobody wants to go through trials and tribulations like that, but he's working in those.
Yeah.
that's where you
And like
see him
proof
the most.
of concept in your story right there. I mean, that is probably the worst thing you could imagine in that moment, but looking in the rear view and seeing how you handled that, like how you handle a situation, whether it's, bad or whatever, speaks more. Like that just shows your character. It shows everything. I don't know. That's super impressive.
That's when my character was built, though. I was just somebody that accepted Christ when I was 9 years old, and then lived like a fool in college, and then, got
Right.
married, and we started going to church because that
Yeah.
was what you do. You
But
get
we're all
married, go to
broken too.
church.
I mean,
But I didn't know him.
Right.
I knew of him, but I did not know him and his ability to see me through those dark days. When I was going through those dark days is when were some of the sweetest days of my life. And this needs to be a podcast just on its own, because
Right.
there's
Yeah.
so much that I learned through that it's hard to condense it in.
but it's so easy to look at your whole story and just see God. Like he's had his hand on everything.
He has it.
I mean, it's
and I
like-
didn't know it, and I questioned it during that time, but just to, just looking back and realizing, okay, who else gets to grow up in a house full of four manly men? Like, when I tell you that, you need to go look at them on Facebook. You're going to go, wow, she isn't kidding. Such, it's such an honor. It's just an honor how he has always been with me, and did not know it until, again, you can look back and see it. But he's such a good God, and we need to do our best in the times that we're living in right now. We need to be on our face, which I can't tell you how important it is to pray on your knees too. Physically, get down on your knees and pray. Every morning I get on my face and I say, give me your mind, your mouth, your eyes, your ears, most of all your heart, and let me be your hands and feet. I might not say anything else to him.
Yeah.
I'm going to say, that fly needs to go away.
We're going to get him for the end of this.
I'm going to say that and ask him to be a part of my day. So, but he's
That's awesome.
awesome God.
Man.
He's an awesome God.
That's awesome. Well, thank you so much for sharing all of this.
Oh, you're welcome. Thanks for having me. It's been
You're an
fun.
incredibly inspirational woman and had just a
thank
really
you.
cool career. And I think it's so neat, and I think inspirational to our listeners too, and encouraging to see how much you just let God pave the way, and how much you are in a perfect position for how he structured you and everything that he has had you go through until this point, and your personality at your core. I mean, just being an Enneagram 8, if anyone knows anything about Enneagram, but how you want to fight for people. Well, you're in the perfect role for that. And I think for anyone that's just like, I don't feel like for who I am as a person, like this role isn't maybe what I'm meant for, go to God and pray about it, and just keep your eyes open when he shuts the door, like with the supervisor position.
Be okay with it.
It's okay. Yeah. It's keep going. You kept including yourself with other people, praying for the entire state, like what you did. And it was all just preparing
I
you
thought
for
she was
this.
fixing to say she walked the
Walked
whole
it, me
state.
too.
I was waiting on that's a perimeter there.
Yeah, I was
That
too.
that would have, you know, Mike says all the time, I can't believe I let you walk around that district with that dog. I can't believe that. I thought that was a good idea, but it's hard sometimes for him to tell me no whenever he feels like the Lord's leading me to
Yeah.
do something. So
For sure.
but a whole session on marriage next time, okay? Nothing but just marriage, and get him to calm, because when I tell you, if we can get that right, if you can get your marriage right, everything else in life will fall into place. When that's off, you're out of sync with everything. And so that would be something that people don't get to see him a lot. He's not as outgoing and talkative as I am, but his words are so heavy and so good. And he's just my man. I don't know how else to say it. He's mine and nobody else's.
There you go. That's awesome. Well, thank you, Miss Jill, so much for coming on. Incredible story, great insight. You got me. I'm charged up, ready to go. I'm gonna bow up. That's what I'm gonna do.
Bow up or bow out.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome. Had
Thank
fun.
you.
Thanks, Hannah.